back. Let's go ahead and knock out this whole Washington Redskins thing first, though.
I just saw all that stuff, dude. That shit was crazy.
Well, I was referring to the name change. I wasn't even referring to what's been breaking in the last 24 hours.
I mean, the name change is one thing. I mean, we're kind of just waiting for that. You know what I mean? It's like it's officially going to be a name change, and now we're just waiting for what it is. So, I mean, whatever. That's what whatever on all that stuff. But like, dude, the stuff that I just saw come out today is wild, dude.
So, what all has come out? I just talked to my roommate about it an hour
dude,
or so ago.
And I don't know the like laws in this, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna make Snyder sell the team.
I would imagine some of the stuff.
He's caught up in like a bunch of like sex scandal stuff, which is obviously bad in itself, but especially with like the climate of everything going on.
Yeah.
But then, dude, they got him. They said apparently he's paying off refs.
How do you pay off refs and still suck?
Apparently, Jay Gruden.
I don't believe that.
Was having sex with the same.
No, that I believe.
Woman as a player, and he got mad at the player and like benched him, and then, dude. So listen to this.
That I believe that
this is some connecting shit, but this shit is wild. So apparently, Jay Gruden and one of the players were having sex with the same woman. Jay Gruden found out. He benched the guy for a half. The guy came back in and missed the block, and it was the play Alex Smith.
Yeah, that's what my roommate told me. That's bad.
That sounds a little too detailed and in depth, but like if that's actually the case, dude, that is insane.
The one that I've seen that my roommate mentioned that I don't believe for a second. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my words and I'll talk shit about the Washington Redskins or Washington whatevers for as long as I live. But he said that there's apparently been like human trafficking through cheerleaders.
No, yeah, I saw that, dude.
I don't believe that at all.
I mean, it's we'll see, man. The FBI apparently is getting involved, so we will.
Really?
We will know.
So I've seen, like Snyder drinking on the job, whatever. Gruden drinking on the job. I can see both those things. Fucking an intern as same as a player. I could definitely see.
Oh, yeah.
I could see Gruden, benching a player because they're both having sex with the same woman.
All of it makes sense.
All of it I can see, 100%. What I cannot see is human trafficking of cheerleaders. If it's true, by all means, get them all out of town.
Yeah,
this seems a little too convenient with what's going on with Epstein and the whole Wayfair thing. I just don't buy it right now. And there's so many people in a football facility, I think someone would say something.
That's what I said. You got to obviously wait for everything to come out, but crazy speculation at the very least, dude.
What was the other one that you mentioned? Oh, paying the refs. I think is a little far-fetched.
I mean,
although granted, when Jay Gruden was there, sometimes they were kind of competitive.
The reason that I said, wow, I believe that more than I wouldn't, is because they literally gave specific amounts. Apparently, he shelled out around $2 million for paying refs.
How do you pay that much and suck?
That's what I said, dude. That's what I said.
I don't get that.
At the end of the day, dude, if you suck and you're getting what you saw the longest yard, right? Refs were against them and they won that game because if you're getting your ass kicked,
to some extent, I could probably see it because a lot of times Washington, I remember a lot in Jay Gruden's years, they would win games I thought they shouldn't, and they would always start off kind of hot, and win games they shouldn't. I was like, man, maybe he's a better coach than I think,
Those Kirk Cousins, Jay Gruden's teams used to kick the shit out of
teams. They were decent, they were competitive. So I don't know, maybe when he ran out of money and had to, pay for his mistress and his family and, whoever else. Maybe he ran out of money for the refs because they always would trail off at the end of the year. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe, dude. I don't know. Crazy shit, though. It's funny that this is the only way anyone will ever talk about the Redskins is a name change or this, crazy-ass controversy.
So what do you think of the name change right now? To me, it was inevitable.
Personally, I think it's an appropriate name change. Like you said, I think it's inevitable. I think it's something that maybe should have been handled a while ago. It ain't my team, so I don't care. And even if
I don't care either.
I care. Dude, listen, it's a name. If people are truly offended by it, which it does have racial epithets. I don't like to sit there and get into all that stuff, but it literally has skins in the name. So maybe an appropriate name change for 2020. I just hope they pick something really cool and not some dumb shit. I saw some Native American guy said they should change the name to Code Talkers.
Yeah, that was one my roommate talked about.
Heard in my life. Dude, Washington Warriors, Washington Generals, Washington Red Tails. Like, I've heard like 6 or 7 names that are fire, dude.
Yeah, those three, I put it on my blog. Those three, I think, are good. Anything patriotic, I thought the Senators would be good.
I think the Generals is a cool
Generals is a cool one. I think so too. I
like that.
I'm a guy who I like creative team names. I don't like the generic Eagles. Now I know the Philadelphia Eagles. It seems generic, but it's relative to the town at least because it's
exactly
where our freedom was birthed. But the Eagles, Bulldogs, Wildcats, all that I don't like. So I like stuff that's creative. So I saw one, the Washington Potomacs. I don't hate it.
That's cool.
You don't hear very many teams named after bodies of water. Only thing is that the Redskins don't play in Washington. They're playing in Maryland, but so I don't know. There's so many things they can go with that I think would be cool. I'd love it. I'm really pulling for them to name them the Washington Sentinels from the replacements, but Washington Warriors makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree too. I like alliteration.
I do too, and they can keep the same color scheme. Native American history, the whole thing, just change the logo to a spear or whatever.
They could change it to like the Florida State shit, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you think that the Cleveland Indians are going to change their name?
I do.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, in my opinion, and I know you don't like to talk about this shit, dude, in my opinion, Indians is 50 times more racist than Redskins.
I don't think it's racist. It's just not. It's not accurate. They're not Indians.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's completely it's completely inaccurate. Calling a Native American an Indian already are Indians.
I got into this with my dad a few weeks ago for 4th of July because we were talking about this and he said it was stupid, and I was like, Redskins, I can see how that's offensive. I said, I was like, I can see that. Indians, I don't think is offensive, but it's not accurate.
Stupid.
Yeah, I was like, it's not accurate. And my dad was like, how is it not accurate? My dad said, how's it not accurate? I think that's because they were indigenous to America. I was like, nope. It's because when Columbus came here, they thought they were Indians, but they're not.
Literally, exactly. So, I mean, dude, I don't really give a shit either way. I do think they're going to change their name, though. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Just go by the tribe. I think that's cool.
That's exactly like if you go Florida Seminoles, stuff like that. They're not. I think that's actually paying homage, if anything. But you know what I mean.
Hey, I'll say this: if and they've already come out and said they're not going to do it, but the Atlanta Braves, if they start getting on the Atlanta Braves, I'm gonna have a cow. If they get on the Chiefs, I'm gonna have a problem with it because those are two really cool names. They're not offensive.
They won't touch. Exactly, they won't touch those. They're not offensive. I would just be like, no, like that's I don't think they touch that. I think Redskins was obvious, and I think Indian is a little less obvious to some people, but it could be something that's changed. I wouldn't say it should be because it's not really any of my business.
Yeah, it's not.
Native American, and I don't like the Cleveland Indians, so it really is what it is. If people want to change it, then that's on them.
Right. So let's get into this franchise tag deadline. I know you have some thoughts. Let's go. You want to go ahead and start with Dak? Let's just start with Dak.
Honestly, was ridiculously anticlimactic. Like I expected a couple more things to happen. The Derrick Henry deal kind of surprised me. I really thought they were going to franchise him, run him in the ground, and let him leave. Probably will prove to be a bad deal ultimately. But
so do you know that deal has a 2-year opt-out clause?
Oh, never mind. Straight deal then.
So that's what I said was I still would not pay him $12.5 million. I wouldn't pay really any running back with the exception of maybe Christian McCaffrey $12.5 million. The reason why I would is because we've talked about this. He was a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver. That's best of both worlds. I would pay him. But Derrick Henry, who's a north-south runner, can't really do much else. I wouldn't do it.
He's great at what he's elite at what he does, but he's just not elite at a lot of things.
My friends got on to me for this, and I can see where they're coming from. He was really good last year, and if you're Tennessee, I don't blame Tennessee for not paying him or for paying him. You're coming off the AFC Championship. He was most of the reason why he got there. I don't blame them for doing it. I just wouldn't have done it. I know this isn't a long-term solution. You're not going to win. And they got on to me for that. But it's not a long-term solution to pay a running back.
That's what I said. That was my only beef. It is dude, there's something to be said though about paying the good players that you draft though. So like, I get.
Oh, I agree with that. Yes.
When you draft a good player, dude, and he does good for your franchise, like, I get it. You can't give out like, and I'm gonna get into this with Dak Prescott here in just a second. Like, you don't get paid what you deserve. You get paid what you're worth if you're a good GM. You know what I mean? That he deserves this much money is bullshit, and that's how you ruin your team because it doesn't matter what they've done for you; it's what they're going to do for you. So I think that can bring us right into Dak, honestly, dude. Like,
well, I want to say one more thing on highest paid running backs real quick. So highest paid running backs. 2 of the top 10 were on teams that made the playoffs last year. Of the quarterbacks, top 10 highest paid quarterbacks, 6 of the highest paid quarterbacks made the playoffs last year. It's nothing against running backs. I do think running backs have value. I honestly prefer running backs to quarterback or wide receivers. I mean, but they're just not that valuable. We've talked about this. You can find a new starter every year in the draft if you really wanted to.
It's a very high floor, low ceiling position.
Yes.
Like 90% of the running backs in the league fit in like look, there's Zeke and Saquon and Christian McCaffrey up here, and then there's like a fairly smaller gap.
Yes.
You got your Derrick Henrys, your Miles Sanders, your like players who are good. Like, how much better is this guy than this guy? You know what I mean? Not as much as they're getting paid, because some running backs are literally getting paid $1 million a year. So.
It also depends. I'm aware that the cap is also going up, so that number that was about $10 million a year for a running back is too much. Well, that's true. I meant in the next, 5 years or something. So I know it's going up. So that number that was about $10 million, kind of the threshold for a running back, I know that's likely going to go up. I don't know what the number is. If it's 15, like what Zeke is, then yeah, I'd say the Titans are probably getting a good deal here. But I realize that. I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So this is still a decent segue to Dak, though, who did not get a deal, going to be playing under the franchise tag. He's going to bet on himself, which I don't blame him at all, but I don't think it's going to work out for him. Or no, I shouldn't say that. It's not going to work out for him with the Cowboys, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I think I don't know, man. It's such a like difficult situation. I really do think there's blame on both sides. What I was seeing was I saw that he got offered like a 5-year or something $1 million contract, got 110 guaranteed. I'm sitting there like, Dak, how are you turning down 110 guaranteed? And I was arguing with some guys online yesterday. They're like, oh well, the guaranteed percentage is smaller than a lot of other guys like Carson Wentz, like Jared Goff, like like a couple of these other guys. And I'm like, guys, is he really that much better than them, though? I don't understand. Like, why do you think Dak Prescott deserves so much more money than Ryan Tannehill? Ryan Tannehill was just in an AFC Championship. This year, he was almost in the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott has one playoff win in 4 years. It's just not that impressive.
So,
it's just really not. I don't understand.
I want to show you something. I saw this, even though I don't care for him a lot of the times, but I saw this on Cowherd. He had a graphic, and it shows Dak Prescott against Washington and the New York Giants. His record is 13-3, and I'm not a big quarterback wins guy, but I do think that there is some value to it. But he's 13-3 against Washington and the Giants with 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a pass rating of 105. That in those 16 games. Against everyone else, his record is 27-21, 67 touchdowns, 32 interceptions, pass rating of 94. Good, not great. But that's against the rest of the league.
When you get that $30 million number, when you cross that threshold, in my opinion, you have to be able to carry an NFL football team to the playoffs, and he can't do that. I promise you. I would put my bank account on it.
I don't either.
When that team's talent takes a dip because everybody's getting paid $80 billion on the fucking team, Zeke, Amari, Tank, all these players are getting all this money, you're going to see that Dak Prescott, without elite talent, is an average player. He is an average player. I'm still like, I'm going to put him around 9 or 10 because I know that his stats say it, but I'm telling you right now, I think in a vacuum, he's probably closer to 13 or 14 because he's played with elite talent. Every fucking game he's ever played his whole year, he had Zeke in that O-line. And when he didn't have Zeke, he played like dog shit. So The O-line's getting older. Travis Frederick left. Tyron Smith gets hurt every year now. Zeke looks like he might have slowed down a little bit. Like, I'm telling you, dude, in 2 years when that talent isn't where it was, they're going to be in a 500 team.
Yeah, honest to goodness, is he a guy, because I don't think so, is he a guy that can win 3 games against Hall of Fame quarterbacks and coaches? I don't think so either.
Not at all. I've been said that. That's the only reason I'm afraid of the Cowboys regular season because I know that they can technically win like 13 games and even get the 1 seed technically, but like Dak Prescott is not winning 4 hard games in a row, dude. He's not even come close to doing it his whole career. You think he's beating Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Drew Brees in the playoffs? Fuck no.
No.
Hell no.
And it's not like he hasn't had help, like you said. Dallas has had a good core.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He is a good player. He won't fuck the game up for you, which is very valuable in some circles. But it's like, dude, the Cowboys had the elite talent. Like, they had it already. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can't win, if you can't do a playoff run with your quarterback on a rookie contract, you're not doing it with him on a $35 million contract.
Now, what I will say...
all the good quarterbacks in the league, all of them won on their rookie contracts except Dak. Well, Carson didn't, but he got them to the Super Bowl level. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. He's in a vacuum. I think he's probably 13, 14, 15th best quarterback in the league. With his talent and all the bullshit he has around him, he's probably closer to 9 or 10.
So, one thing I think will help him, not so much because I've seen people that think McCarthy's going to bring him to a new level. I don't think that at all. What we see is what we're going to get out of Dak, I think, for the rest of his career, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a good player.
See, you actually know that. Yeah, Mike McCarthy's a great coach. Is Mike McCarthy going to take somebody from here to here? He's not that
I
coach.
don't. Now, what I do think could happen is he takes the Cowboys to the level they're supposed to be, like what we think they can be as a 10 or 11 win team. But I just don't see him taking Dak from being the 9th or 10th or whatever best quarterback. I said he was 10th. To being a top 5 guy. It's not going to happen. This is his 5th year. It's likely not going to change.
Dude,
Is it 5th year? 16, 17. Yeah, 5th year.
Like you said, dude, he gets basically 4 games a year where he gets to just basically do video game numbers because he plays fucking garbage cans and he has. Dude, Zeke, look at Zeke's numbers against the Redskins, dude. I mean, he fucking eats them up, dude. Like, Dak, all he has to do is do a play-action pass, and it's a 50-yard gain. Like, dude, I actually know football, and I watch football, and
I actually know football.
No, because, dude, a lot of people are very casual fans, and they'll go, oh, he had 4,900 passing yards and 30 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. No, the whole, I want to get this out of the way right here. The whole passing yards thing, I think, is the dumbest argument. I don't even use it as a stat anymore because there's so much context that goes into passing yards. Your running game may suck. You may be playing from behind a lot. I hate that argument. Oh, you led the league in passing yards. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean anything, dude. Especially if your team isn't scoring the points. Now, if you lead the league in passing yards and you have the number 1 offense like Dak did, okay. Like, dude, he played well last season. I'm not trying to shit on him.
Dallas had the number 1 offense? No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
And total yard, or was it total yards? Okay, then that I can believe. I thought you were going to say scoring.
Oh, no, I think they were. No, that was their problem. They were probably like 8th in scoring, even though they were number 1 offense. So,
well, still, you know what that tells me? They're playing from behind a lot, and they got to sling the ball.
It tells me that they're very bad situationally. Now, yeah, you can blame some of that on Jason Garrett.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I think McCarthy will help. But we've seen what we're going to see from him. If I'm Dallas, I honestly, I've been on kind of the fence on whether or not to pay him because I do think he's worth $30 million.
No, I do too.
But I also don't think you're going to do anything with him. So I really don't have a problem if Dallas just said, we don't think you're good enough.
I think it's a very, Matt Stafford situation where it's like, dude, yeah, we're probably not going to win a Super Bowl, but are we really just going to let Matt Stafford walk out the door like he's probably a top 6 or 7 quarterback?
Matt Stafford, with any other team, I think could be making deep playoff runs. He's truly underrated.
No, I agree. I'm just, I don't know, man. The Dak shit is just crazy. I think he should have took his 110 M's and did what
And that's the other thing. I don't know how how these deals are structured. I keep seeing people, my friends will get in touch with me and be like, why does he keep turning this down? I don't know how it's structured. You got to learn how it's structured first.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, the Cowboys have lucked out on health more than basically any team in the league, at least, from my point of view. And that's not going to last forever, dude. They're going to lose a good player here soon into injury. Zeke's going to hurt.
Well, they already lost. I mean, they already lost Travis Frederick, which I think is a huge loss.
Going to get hurt. Dude, one of those big players on their team is going to get hurt because it just happens, dude. They were the second healthiest team in the NFL last year, according to missed games by starters. So it's like, dude, we know. I learned this from Lefko, dude. When you're like doing betting and shit, you go to the opposite of their anomaly the year before. If it seems like, holy shit, they were 7-1 in one-score games. Next year, they're probably going to go back down to earth. Dude, somebody on the Cowboys is going to get hurt this year. It's going to be Zeke, it's going to be Tyron, it's going to be Alex Martin, it's going to be Tank, it's going to be Jalen Smith, or it's going to be Dak. One of those players is going to get hurt. When they lose a couple of their elite players because they're very top-heavy, they're going to be fucked, dude. So they better hope that's for everybody. Everybody better hope.
Exactly. But no, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize that with football. You're like, yeah, they might have won 13 games like Green Bay did, but 8 of them were one-score games. They're almost certainly going to go to 500, maybe worse.
Exactly.
So.
And that happened. Sorry to interrupt one more time, but that happened to Dak last year. The year before, dude, they were like 10-1 in one-score games, dude. Last year's Dak lost all of them. He didn't win one-score game last year. That's how it goes, dude. Because I remember, dude, people were chomping my ear off about how clutch Dak is and unclutched Wentz is, and that fucking turned that story around in 2019. I can tell you that.
I'm so sick of the Carson Wentz hate. I'm probably more tired of it than you are.
It's ridiculous, dude. I just know it's bullshit at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, dude, any person who's removed from like the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry or just removed from the NFC East knows he's good. Plain and simple. Even artists will admit he's good. That's when you know.
Yeah,
Artist is hyped on the Chiefs, though, by the way, bro.
What's that?
Artist is hyped on the Chiefs, dude.
Well, why wouldn't he be? It's the fucking Chiefs.
And they kept everybody, dude.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the Mahomes extension either.
Bro, they're going to go like 15-1 and win the Super Bowl again, probably.
No, I don't think 15-1.
Dude, I'm telling you.
The AFC West isn't that bad of a division. The Chargers are decent. The Broncos should be better. Even the Raiders, I think, are decent.
Touchdowns in 5 minutes.
I know, dude. But 15-1, come on.
I mean, the Ravens went 14-2 last year.
Oh, and I think they might be better. I honestly think the Ravens might be 16-0. If you look at their schedule this year, it is.
I know.
Yeah.
And they got Campbell.
I went through. I told you, I went through every team's schedule, try to just give an early win-loss prediction. I was looking at Baltimore, and I gave them 13-3 just because odds are they're not going to win more than 14 games. Yeah. But I was going through it. I'm like, man, 13-3. And I'm being generous with some of this. Like, they could easily be better.
Yeah, agreed.
But the Mahomes thing, so the deal, I think, is technically $500 million over 10 years. So $50 million a year if you average it out. I'm telling you, that's not really the number. I've already looked. No. They're taking about $50 million of that. They're putting it these next 2 years on his deal. They're giving him a little bit.
It's actually very team friendly.
Yes. What's that?
It's very team friendly.
Yes.
It really is.
They're taking $50 million. They're putting it on these next 2 years. It's really more like a 12-year deal. $500 million over 12 years, which is still about $40 some million dollars. So when you really look at it, it's not absurd. I mean, the number last year for a quarterback was around $35 million. Yeah. Mahomes is roughly around 40. It's not all the way to 50, unlike what people might think. It's really closer to 40.
And dude, everyone's paid for already. So it's like they figured it out. Like they're under the cap.
They have. That's another thing too. I've learned is extensions, believe it or not, free up cap space. As much as hard as it is to realize, it does. But Mahomes, I mean, they're clearly setting it up to do another 2-year run because then once that number hits 45 or whatever, they are going to have to make some cuts. That is the fact. I'm not one of these guys that think a salary cap isn't a myth or a salary cap is a myth. It's not. It's a real thing. It's a hard cap. You got to be under it. It's not a myth. It's there. So eventually they're going to have to start losing some people, cutting some guys, whatever, to get under that cap. But these next 2 years, I mean, they're going to be the favorites, likely. I'm probably not going to pick them to do it this year just because I don't like to pick back-to-back teams. But that's my opinion. And I'm telling you right now, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be worth every penny of this contract.
I do too.
My friends were giving me shit. So my friends were giving me shit. They were like, how can you defend Mahomes' deal to Derrick Henry's? I said, because Patrick Mahomes is a transcendental player in 2 years and has not even begun to peak. Dennis Reynolds quote, I haven't even begun to peak.
No, it's like actually true. Dude, Patrick Mahomes is
what other quarterback, James, has won an MVP, a Super Bowl, in back-to-back years, in their first 2 years as a starter?
You know who almost did?
I mean, Wentz, I guess.
That hurts.
Well, I just meant his first season, first year as a starter, he won MVP. Second year, he won a Super Bowl.
No, I mean, dude, you could legitimately make an argument he's the most talented player to ever.
Oh, I could tell that as his rookie year.
Yeah.
And
so, dude, he said the year that he threw like the 50-something touchdowns and stuff, he said he couldn't even read defenses that year. He just started learning how to read defenses last year. Like, dude, he is 5 years away from his quarterback prime. So, like, he'll throw for 6,000 yards.
Let me see how old he is. I don't think he's 24. He might be 24.
He's 24.
Is he 24?
Yep.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so he'll be 25 this year. He'll be 25. Still arguably 2 years from his prime. And hang on, that's just the beginning of his prime. He'll have another 5 years in his prime.
Exactly.
I don't even think we've seen the best of Mahomes yet. I really don't.
No, 100%.
And it's gonna be crazy and then we're gonna be like, man, that $450 million is really paying off. Which we talked about, James. They're likely gonna restructure at some point.
Exactly, dude. I'm surprised there wasn't a clause that like keeps him the highest paid player in the league the whole time. Because I know Aaron Rodgers had a couple things like that, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't follow that closely.
I'm pretty sure Julio tried to do it. There's basically just a clause that's just like, yeah, dude, when somebody else gets a big contract, we renegotiate my contract.
So,
I know.
The last one I want to talk about is Myles Garrett, who I was honestly a little shocked got $125 million over 5 years until you brought up really just how good he is. I started looking at his numbers because there was honestly a thought in the back of my mind. I was like, man, has he really played? He's good, but has he really played up to the hype? And I looked at his numbers. He absolutely has. 30.5 sacks over 35 games, or in just 35 games in 3 years. And I also sent you a stat today from Pro Football Focus saying that he had won, like, what was that number?
It was like 25%.
Yeah, what was that? He won 25% of his matchups. Pass rush win rates is the numbers. 25%. Higher than Joey Bosa, Cameron Wake, Zadarius Smith, and Khalil Mack.
On top of that, he's not playing against bum left tackles. Like, Ronnie Stanley is arguably one of the best left tackles in the league. He's going against Ronnie's. Like, dude, for my money, he's the best defensive player in the NFL. Because of the premium of his position, I think you might be able to argue maybe some players at a couple different positions might be a little bit better. But, like, yeah, dude, I think he wins Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he gets 20 sacks this year.
Oh, 20 sacks isn't out of the question. I would do a franchise in Madden with the Browns, and he'd get 20 sacks. Like, he got 20 sacks every year for, like, 6 years.
Dude, he's probably the biggest freak of nature in the NFL.
I don't think I would put him...
Dude, he's like 6'6", 270,
runs
4'5".
Yeah.
He's like 5% body fat. He's insane, dude.
I wouldn't put him as the best defensive player. I still think that's Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald. But he's maybe 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, I mean, and dude, you have to think of the age, too. I'm pretty sure he's only 25, too. So.
Yeah, him and Mahomes are in the same draft, so he's roughly 23 to 25.
Yep. Dude, that's crazy. That was the draft we went to, right?
It was.
Dude, that's going to end up being a fire.
I told you when we were there, all the analysts said that was going to be that was the best defensive class ever.
We got to see Patty get
Patrick
drafted.
That was so crazy, dude. I just that was such an insane trade. I was like, they traded for Mahomes. and we were both kind of on the Mahomes train a little bit. We both liked him. We didn't think he'd be taken at 10.
No, I didn't.
So I don't really have anything else to talk about. I hate to end so abruptly, but I forgot to ask last.
Not much sports going on there.
I know. I forgot to ask last show though. I know it's been a while, but you said a while back you had a dream that was like a Christopher Nolan film. I gotta know this dream.
Damn, dude, I'm trying to remember it now. So I do kind of remember it. All right, so we're on like this house on the water, and in my dream, the house was familiar, but in real life, it wasn't. If that makes sense. Like in my dream, it was like somewhere that I had been before.
Yeah, it felt like you had been there.
Yeah, so like I like plugged in my phone. I was there with my girlfriend, and I went into the room. And I start getting these text messages from a bunch of random numbers, and they know really random shit about me, Shane. Like, not even necessarily bad stuff. They're just, and I'm like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? So, bro, I put my phone down, and I walk out of the room, and bro, in my dream, I live like another 10 years of my life. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I aged like 10 years. So, towards the end of the dream, we go back to this house. Okay, that I was in the beginning of the dream where these random fucking people were texting me. So the next there's stuff I'm forgetting because it was like a while and I forget most.
Yeah, no, I forgot to ask.
So I go back in this room, bro, and I'm getting deja vu, dude, and I start getting these texts again from the same people 10 years later, right? I put my phone down and walk out. That 10 years didn't happen. Like it was the same time. Like I was getting, dude, it's so hard to fucking explain. Like,
I swear to God, this does sound like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Dude, at the end, I was like, dude, what? So, like, the whole 10 years of aging after I walked out of the room the first time just didn't happen. They just didn't happen. Like, I was back to, like, the first age that I was.
We all know Christopher Nolan loves time and,
Dude, I want to see Tenet really bad.
I know that I'm already confused because they're like, it's time inversion. It's not time travel. It's like shit, some stuff you go back in time for, some stuff hasn't happened yet. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie?
Dude,
and that sounds like it.
The lead actor in the movie, he said he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I wish I could have, like, dude, the way I explained it to my girlfriend, like, right when I woke up, like, dude, it literally sounded like a Chris Nolan movie. It was nuts.
So, did you just watch a Christopher Nolan movie?
Nope. It was like Inception, dude.
I know.
It just felt like I had a dream within a dream, kind of, is how it felt. It really did.
So you were at some place, it skipped 10 years, but it really didn't, and people knew stuff.
Dude, so, yeah, I just walked back into the room, and I was just like, it was like nothing, none of that happened, but it was literally like 10 years. It was like I was 30 when I walked into the room the second time, but then I was back to 20 again or something. Like, it was weird, dude. It was so fucking weird.
You need a dream book and try to look that up.
Dream journal, I know.
Yeah.
I do need to.
Well, a lot of good stuff comes in your dreams. The George R.R. Martin, the guy who wrote A Game of Thrones and the Song of Ice and Fires, said it came from a dream.
Yeah, hell yeah, that shit's awesome. But all right, buddy, good to talk to you.
Always.
We'll talk next week when some shit comes out. All right.
What's that?
I said we'll talk next week when some extra shit comes out about the Redskins.
If some stuff comes out, who the hell knows?
Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you
Later.
Later.